Hello, this is Last Bell Boxing, and we're very proud to have on the show Nicola Hurricane Hopewell. How you doing, Nicola?
Hiya, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, really good. So before we get down to the boxing, did you watch football?
Well, I was at the gym, but I've just watched the second half. I skipped the first half because I knew the score and I knew when they scored. So because I knew I didn't have long, I just watched the second half.
You didn't miss much.
Yeah,
I didn't think I missed much.
The first half was really tactical, so you did the right thing. But a bit of history there, because it's not very often we beat the Germans, is it?
Yeah, I saw that. First time for years, isn't it?
Well, you probably won't remember this. In fact, I bet you weren't even born. But in 1990, when was you born, in fact?
In 1991.
Right, well, there you go then. So that was Carlisle, don't it? So in 1990, when we got to that semi-final, ever since then it's been downhill, hasn't it?
And Andy, just while we're finishing the football bit off before we do finally get into boxing, Sheffield United, Nicola, really? Sheffield United.
I knew that were going to come then. Yeah, I'm from near Sheffield, you see, and
I know Worksop well.
Yeah. Do you?
Yeah. I've worked in Worksop for a while. I'm Retford, so
cool.
Yeah. You guys look more towards Sheffield than you do to Nottingham, don't you? Really?
It's closer.
Yeah.
But what I would say is, me and Andy's actually been to Bramall Lane when Kel Brookthorpe. And let's just say we got a bit of a Sheffield welcome from the locals. So you know.
It was a good night of boxing, to be fair, Nicola.
I bet it was. I bet it's good to box there, you know.
Well, you know, I'm sure. I know you've mentioned that as a goal of yours, isn't it? To hopefully get to Bramall Lane and sell it out. You know, who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, I've said that for a long time. When I first turned pro, I said I'd love to box at Bramall Lane.
So Nicola, explain this one to me. How'd you go from Latin ballroom dancing to pro boxer?
Well, when I was 5, I started dancing, and I think my mum sent me to dancing because my older cousins went there. So she got me into dancing, and I did enjoy it. I stuck it out, and I got medals and stuff and trophies for competition.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, so I did it from being age 5 to I think I was nearly 17 when I stopped. So I did it for quite a few years.
And when did you start? When did you first go down the gym then?
I think I was 22 when I first started going to the gym, and I had my first fight at 23.
Am I right in saying that there wasn't a boxing gym in your area then until around that point?
Yeah, so I think Xbox opened probably a year before I started going, but I didn't really know it were there. But then it's one of my neighbours actually that owns the gym. And I just went down with his wife to like a boxercise sort of class, but I weren't really aware of like the boxing classes or anything that they did. But then started doing this women's boxercise, so I just went there with her. She'll go try it out, and then just went from there. I just like upped my days, did different classes, started doing the actual boxing class and not the women's boxercise, and then got into it that way.
So, Andy, can I jump in for a question? I've watched quite a bit of your Facebook videos with your mum and such like, Nicola, which are quite entertaining. I think your mum steals the show a little bit, to be honest. And good effort with the exercise. She's doing well, isn't she?
Yeah, she loves it.
So you talked about a day in the life when it was lockdown in terms of what it looked like. What does a day in the life look like now?
Well, if I go by today, I got up I went for a run about 6:20. Started work at 8 o'clock. Finished work at 4:30. I was at gym for 5 o'clock, and then I got back about 7:15ish. Had a shower and watched the football, and then I'm just doing this interview. So yeah, my days are quite full and jam packed.
How difficult is it? How difficult you finding being a pro boxer and working full time?
It can be hard at times, especially when you have a fight coming up. I think because obviously I've got to train twice a day. I've got to get my runs in, and then I've got to be at gym at night time. So I have to get up a bit early to do my run and stuff. I guess this past year I've been quite lucky because I'm still working from home. Because I work in an office. I go in the office once, twice, maybe tops a week, but usually it's just once a week. so it's not been too bad, but then it can be a bit frustrating sometimes because like there'll be things going off in the daytime that I can't do because I'm working. Like we're supposed to have a girl coming sparring last Friday. She didn't end up coming, but if she did come, she was coming at 11 o'clock. But I can't break off from work to go sparring at 11 o'clock because I got set hours to work. So that's kind of where my coach tries to arrange it around it as much as possible, and we'll go sparring at night or on a Saturday or Sunday or something. But there's the odd time if that happens, and then I really want to be there, but I can't unless I put a day's holiday in, and that happened not long ago. I put a day's holiday. Well, I had a day's holiday in, arranged for sparring, and then they cancelled it. So I don't get that many holidays a year to keep putting in for sparring and it not happen. So
yeah. I mean, I just want to take me out of you because what a work ethic you've got. You know, you put some people to shame that I won't name, obviously, because I might never get an interview with them again. but the dedication you're showing, you deserve to reap the rewards. So let's hope sponsorship comes through to you for a level that can mean that you finish your full-time job and make boxing your full-time job. I know you work for a well-named brand in Worksop. You know, he's probably one of the biggest employees apart from the sandwich factory, I'd say. So
I don't know if I know that one. You might have to message it me.
Yeah, there's a well-known sandwich factory. I'm not down for giving free advertisements, so I won't name them.
Oh, if it's a sandwich factory, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, so
My
again,
dad works there.
right, really. So unless they're willing to sponsor you, then we don't do free advertising.
No, I've tried it.
So right. you know the sponsorships you've currently got.
Yeah.
What do they really help you out with at the moment?
They help me out with like the funding side. So a lot of my opponents, well, my next two opponents, they're coming from overseas. So there's a cost there to get them over. My training, my basic gym training. I've got a nutrition sponsor, so they provide all my supplements and stuff.
Right.
And I've recently just had Notorious Fight Gear come on board, so they like sponsor me clothing and equipment and stuff.
Oh, it's got to help a little bit then.
Yeah.
Takes a bit of pressure off, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
And the talent pathway that you're on for 12 months, Nicola, just give some of the viewers some insight into what that actually means and how it supported you.
So the talent pathway, the England talent pathway, that was, I boxed in the elite championships and I got to the semi-final. And I met the number one seed in the semi-final, and I lost out on a unanimous decision, but it were close, and I think I'd had 16 fights and she'd had 144 or something like that. Wow. So there was a massive difference. She ended up going to Commonwealth Games. I'm not going to name her, but you'll probably guess who it is. But because I boxed so well, on that fight, they offered me the talent pathway, and what it was is once a month, if all the girls on this talent pathway, they'd meet up at a gym. So it was basically all around country. Like I think I went to Newcastle, Leeds. I think I went to Nottingham a few times, Derby. And then once a month they all met there, and you just like did sparring and drills, and it was like a Saturday Sunday thing, just on a weekend. So it was just basically a chance to be able to spar other girls your weight, because it is hard probably getting sparring as well at your weight as well. So it was good. It was a good opportunity.
So you got a little bit of a glimpse there of what it must be like being in the GB squad then. Yeah,
it was a bit like that, yeah.
Because
some of them girls were there as well, and also part of the talent pathway. I did quite well on it, and I went to the EIS place in Sheffield, where all the GB squad train. I had the opportunity to go there for 5 days, and we stayed over in the hotel down the road, and we were training like the GB team would do, and they had like the Italian team over, so we'd have to get up in the morning, we'd go for the morning run with them, and it was either there's a canal there, so we either had to run down the canal, or it was like track training, so it like different things on different days. Then we'd like go back to the hotel, chill out for a little bit, then we'd go back and do like pad work and stuff like that, then we'll go back again to rest, and then we're back again at night time to do sparring or bags or something like that. So you were training 3 times a day. So I got a really good insight of what it actually was like on the GB squad for it were a full week. So that was a really good experience.
Yeah.
Have you felt a little bit like in your amateur career? You spent 6 years in amateurs, didn't you?
Yeah, just about 6 years. Yeah.
Did it feel a little bit like you were treading water when you were coming up against these girls that were in the GB squad? Because although it's amateur, they're kind of there full time.
Yeah, it's their full-time job, and every time I entered the elite championships, I come up against the GB number 1 seed, either in the quarterfinal or the semi-final, every single time. But I boxed Tori Willits twice, my last 2 amateurs championships, the elite ones, and I felt the second time I did box her, I'd improved a lot. I still lost, but I could tell myself I'd improved and watching the video back from the first time. And she was a full-time like GB athlete, but to share the ring with someone that is a full-time athlete like that, like it's learning. I took them as learning curves. So yeah.
You've sparred with her as well, haven't you?
I sparred with who? Sorry.
Tori Willett.
I've not sparred her. I've just boxed her twice.
All right, okay. I'm right in thinking though you've spent some time sparring Nicola Adams and Terry Hopewell.
Yeah, so I've sparred Terry Hopewell quite a few times.
Because obviously Nicola was a big name, obviously in kind of leading the way for women's boxing. Yeah,
so I sparred Nicola for her. I think her first pro camp. She was training at Ingles, and I sparred her. They said, "Oh, I hear you've got a girl," sort of thing, because Chris knows Dominic Ingle. So Dominic messaged Chris and said, "Oh, will you bring Nicola over for a little bit of sparring with Nicola?" So when Chris told me, I was like, "Are you joking?" Sort of thing. I didn't believe it. I'm like, "You're having me on here," and then it's like, "I'm not." And this was when work were really good. They did use. Because we used to on a Friday, they did used to let me leave a little bit early if I made the time up because of what I was doing. Yeah. So they were supportive with that. But yeah, I sparred her quite a few times on a first camp. And then for a second camp, they invited me back. So I was over the moon with that.
Because you must take a lot from them spars. You must take a lot from them.
Yeah.
You know.
I think one of the biggest things I took from that is obviously how good she was, 2-time Olympic champion, and like I could keep up with her like work rate and everything like that. And on the second time I sparred, she was boxing a southpaw actually, and that's not my normal stance. Yeah. And when we went over, Dominic like said to Chris, "Can she go southpaw for some rounds?" And it weren't something I was 100% confident with, because it's not something I can switch, but it's not something I do all the time and like box full rounds of it. Yeah. But I tried it and I did it. So like helping her out like that. So yeah, it was crazy.
And you've been in with Terry Harper as well. I was reading. You've sparred Terry Harper.
Yeah, I sparred Terry a few times as well. Terry's Nicola's the same weight as me. Terry's a little bit heavier. She's quite a few weight categories above me, but that same again. Like the experience I got from that is amazing. Like I loved it.
Just how good is she, Nicola?
She's good. She's good, and she's strong as well. It's a good job I was on my feet and moving around, so like I didn't catch the punches like full force a lot of time.
Speaking of being strong, you've come out of the amateurs, having the kind of style where you're quick, you throw a lot of punches in flurries. But in your pro ranks, you've had 3 fights and 3 knockouts. Where's that power coming from?
I think when you go into the pros, you have to change a little bit, because the amateur style is a little bit on your feet, like in and out, a lot of moving around. Like you still have to do that in the pros, but when I went as an amateur, I wasn't physically strong, so we did a lot of strength and conditioning work for the past year or so. So built up my strength a little bit, and we've obviously worked on my boxing as well to suit the pros more. I'm still on my feet, I still move around, but I think now I know when to plant my feet and I know when to like throw the heavy shots.
I understand in your third fight, which I believe was April. That's right, isn't it?
Yeah.
That was an all women's card, and I'm right in thinking that was the first one ever in Europe.
Yes.
How proud must you have been to take that opportunity?
Oh, so proud. Yeah, and I headlined it as well.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
Yeah. So again, the opportunity, and like, because it won Fight TV as well, so I'm not really sure how many people were tuning in around the world, but there must have been good numbers tuning in because it was free to watch. But when I found out, like, I was just over the moon again, like headlining the first all-female card in Europe. It's a great opportunity.
Women's boxing's flying at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, you've got women's fights in these on these undercards to some of the really big fights that Matchroom have put on recently, and they're stealing the show.
They are, definitely.
You know, so it's fantastic that you've done that. Tell us a little bit about your upcoming fight on the 4th of September. You're fighting for the European Super Flyweight title, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm boxing for the WBL Super Flyweight title, and I'm boxing a girl from Argentina. I think she's called Vanessa Tabora or something like that.
Do you know much about her?
I know that she's had a lot of fights. I think she's had 23, something like that, 23 fights.
And it's a given.
She's won about half of them, yeah. And I think she's only been stopped once.
Yeah, typical South American fighter, I'd imagine.
Really tough.
Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to that. I think it'll be, because I've had three fights and 3 stoppages so far. I think this fight, I feel like it's going to go probably the full rounds, and really give me the opportunity to show people how I can box the full distance of a fight and not stop somebody in 2 rounds, sort of thing. I think it's a good step up for me as well, and probably at the right time.
So Nicola, tell our viewers how they can watch that fight.
It's on Fight TV again. Just
Wonderful.
download the Fight TV app.
Just downloading the app.
Yeah, it'll not be on there yet, but close to the time it'll be on there. Wonderful.
Are you having supporters in for this fight?
Yeah, the supporters. This tickets in the online tickets. It's in Brighton, and the tickets can be bought online. Where I think when you get to the checkout, you can just select the name of the boxer that you're supporting. So I put the link in my bio on Instagram and Twitter if anyone's interested.
Isn't it called Battle on the Beach or something like that? Isn't it?
Yeah.
So I've done my own work, Nicola. I've done my own work. Yeah. It looks a good initiative. It looks a very good card. You know, boxing is on its way back into the crowd, so it can only help people such as yourself who are looking to climb the ladder. You know.
Yeah, I'm really excited. Like, again, with the crowds and stuff being back, so, and it's gonna be a great show. Like, the build up and what I've heard, like, I can't wait.
Is this your first pro fight then that you're gonna have a crowd in?
No, I boxed my first pro fight just before the first lockdown in 2020.
Oh, March
2020. Yeah, I boxed in Barrow. We had a big basketball arena, so that was my first one. That were for a pro debut. That were a bit daunting with the amount of people that were there. But I really enjoyed it. I enjoy it when there's a crowd.
Yeah. So how much of a difference is it? How much of a difference is it having to fight behind closed doors?
It's very quiet because on all my amateur fights and like my first professional one, I was used to like hearing my family and my friends, like, because you can just pinpoint them. You can hear them. You can hear the voices. So then when I did the first behind closed doors one, you could hear everything. I could hear the commentator on my first pro one behind closed doors. I heard the commentator say something about Nicola started off slow and it was only first round, and then I was like, oh, best speed it up, and then I got her in the corner and stopped her at the end of the first round. So I mean, I think it was my advantage because I just like put my foot down and went for it.
It's quite
Because I
interesting.
didn't like the comment.
Quite interesting, though, Nicola, from a psychology point of view, because obviously, I know we've had other guests on who have been involved in fight camp, matchroom fight camp, and they've been quite critical of the fact that they can hear commentators. You know, and I know Joe Gallagher's been quite vocal on regarding the commentators being able to be heard as well, because it can affect the way you fight if you're not careful.
Yeah,
You can. You could well go in there with a game plan and you may as well rip it up because you've heard what the commentator says. So, you think you're behind on the cards, or, so you have to be careful, don't you, with that scenario?
Yeah, definitely. On my second one that was behind closed doors in April, I couldn't hear the commentator on that one. I don't know if he wasn't talking as loud or he was a bit further away, but I couldn't hear him like I could the first one.
Yeah.
And like would have gone either way. I could have took that either way. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, who do you base your fighting style on then, Nicola?
Yeah, I don't know really.
Who's your idols in boxing? I know I read that you wasn't particularly interested in boxing before competing. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. I don't really watch a lot of it now, to be honest. But I like Nicola Adams, like Katie Taylor, Terry Harper. Like I sparred them. Yeah, that's probably about it.
Jonas?
How good was the Jonas Harper fight?
Oh, the Jonah Harper's fight was amazing, wasn't it?
I mean, for me, that's opened a lot of people's eyes to female boxing.
Yeah.
Before that point, I think you were getting a lot of hardcore boxing fans kind of not sniggering at female boxing, but not necessarily taking it seriously.
Yeah, I think so as well.
You get that fight, and then you get the one that she had with Katie Taylor as well.
Yeah,
amazing, both amazing fights, but not just slugfest either. Proper, real skill, and
I agree.
Both fights could have gone either way.
I think that. Yeah, Natasha Jonas, she's amazing as well. There's so many, isn't there? There's so many.
Yeah. I mean, Jonas versus Taylor stole the show for me.
I think that definitely. That was a good fight.
Yeah, brilliant fight. So, and also the bottle that female fighters are showing as well. We better mention Ebony Bridges and the bottle she's shown when she had her eye punched a few times.
That was a good fight as well.
I tell you, we've talked about this a lot on a show. A lot of male fighters would have quit. She fought with the last 3 rounds, and she couldn't see out that eye.
There's no quitting Ebony.
Shows true grit.
She's a true warrior, honestly.
And speaking of great fights, how good was that fight?
Yeah.
I love that fight. Loved it. Like, Ebony's, you probably see on my social media, Ebony's one of my close friends. But that fight, that stole the show. Someone said to me the other day, who else were on that card? And I think there were 3 of us talking, and none of us knew who else was on that card, and we watched it. So that stole the show.
Do you know what? Thinking about it, I can't remember now either.
No,
I've not looked, but
all I can remember is thinking props to Ebony Bridges because the state of that eye, and she continued fighting. Male or female, you've got guts.
Absolutely.
Yeah, she has got guts, definitely.
Yeah, and she knows how to match as well. She knows how to promote herself as well, doesn't she? She's a very good talker. I'll just leave that one there.
Yeah.
So when you bring this European strap back,
and
it's not if either, it's when. We're very confident. We're very confident on this show that you're going to do that. Surely that's going to open the doors for you to get on some of these bigger promotions.
Hopefully.
Is that your kind of long-term goal? Because obviously, if you get some sort of a fight deal with a big promoter, not mentioning anyone's names, Eddie Earn, surely that then puts you in a position where you're not necessarily having to work full-time.
I don't know. I'm just gonna take each fight as it comes and just see what doors open. Like promotion I'm with now, they're doing amazing things for female boxing, like with the cards that they're doing and the opportunities we're getting.
Do you want to just give them a plug?
Yeah, it's Assassin Boxing Promotions.
Fantastic. Are they putting on these shows that you're currently fighting on then?
Yeah, so there's Assassin Promotions, and then this Sportinarium as well that they're putting on the shows. They're helping put on the shows. They're based in Brighton, so between them, they're the ones that's putting the shows on. Yes,
it's got when you win this title, like I say, it's got to put the super flyweight division on alert.
Yeah,
especially if you do it in the fashion that you've won the first 3.
Yeah, with this girl on being stopped, just the one, she's tough. Yeah, she's very tough. And I've watched a few of her fights as well. That's on YouTube, and yeah, she's a tough cookie. So my thing is, if I can go and win that belt, then it'll put a statement out there.
Absolutely. I'm sure you've got your eye on the world belts as well.
Yeah, definitely.
It's very early in your career yet, obviously.
Yeah.
But the pool of female fighters isn't as big as the male rosters at the moment. So there's nothing to say that you can't be fighting for one of them titles soon.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they've already said, and I can repeat it because I saw it on the internet. So they've already said that if I do win in September with the European, I can box for the WIBA interim world title in December, which is the original female belt, like before all the other ones. So yeah.
Who's that current held by? Do you know?
I don't know if Susie Q holds the world belt, but I'll be boxing for the interim one.
Right.
I think that's vacant at the minute.
That puts pressure on, don't it?
Yeah, because I know now that I've got to win on September the 4th to be able to box for it.
But on another way, it gives you more motivation, I'd imagine, for them ill sprints that I've seen you doing on your Facebook and such like.
Yeah. That girl stood in my way.
Yeah, I agree. So there's only one thing to do, and that's smash through it.
Yeah.
Where do you do a lot of your training? Because I've seen a lot of photos on Twitter and stuff. You look like you're in the Dales.
In the Dales.
That's work stop for you, Andy.
Yeah. So like my runs and stuff, like I've got at the back of our house. It's just all wood.
Oh right, okay.
Like it's like like an old pit sort of thing. So yeah, there's that, and then it leads on to Clumber Park as well. I think if you run through the woods, I think it's 3 miles. You're in Clumber Park.
So what sort of distance are you doing in the morning then?
This morning I did 3.5 miles.
And you're doing that every day?
Yeah.
And then going to work full time?
Yeah.
And then training for 2 hours after?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm only if I spend an hour in the gym whacking a bag for 6 rounds. No, like I said, anyone who puts the work in like you do, Nicola, you deserve all the success. I'm sure it'll come. I'm sure Workshop won't only be known for golf in another year's time. But no, like I said, September's a big carrot for you, isn't it? You know, it could unlock a lot September, couldn't it? Especially, you know. Yeah. So yeah, I wish you well with that. I do.
Thank you. I'm
sure. I have no doubt as well that some of these big promoters are going to be going to have one eye on that show. Absolutely, no doubt about that.
I think a lot of people should be tuning into that. So it's free. I think it's free as well to watch.
Yeah, we'll put the links all in the comment box below, Nicola. We'll put all it to your promotions as well and everything like that. Okay, it'll all be in the comments box.
Oh, thank you.
No problem.
Can you do us a favour?
Yeah.
Come back on when you've won that strap with you. Come back on with it over your shoulder. That'd be great.
Yeah, of course I will. More motivation.
Well, I've really enjoyed this interview, Nicola, honestly, and Andy will tell you I don't often say that.
Trust me, it takes a lot to impress Cole.
Yeah, so I think you're right down to earth. Go and do it for workshop in Nottinghamshire. I know you're a Sheffield United fan, but we'll just skip over that.
We'll ignore that bit.
I'll keep in my mind that you're doing it for Nottinghamshire, and that it'll work for me. But yeah, let's do a part 2 when you've got that strap, and then we'll see what position you're in then. Let's see who's knocking on your door. Andy might join you for your morning runs at some point.
Behave yourself.
No, Nicola, I appreciate your time. I'll leave Andy to close it out. Okay, but nice to meet you. Good luck in September. I'll be watching. Okay.
Thank you,
Nicola. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on. So everybody that's going to view this, 4th of September, European Super Flyweight title down in Brighton. You can watch it on Fight TV. Everybody that doesn't already have the Fight TV app, go and get it. As Nicola's already said, it's free to watch. Give her all the support you can, because this show certainly will be. Nicola, thank you for coming on.
thank you.